皇上万岁万岁万万岁 and welcome to Defense Politics Asia. And this is the part two of the this China crisis series of video celebrating the ascendance of Xi Jinping into emperorship, basically the third term, which he never should have gotten. No, so there's no such thing as a third term in China presidency, and he's the first one. And basically he has ascended to the power of Mao Zedong. So he's the most powerful Chinese leader in the Communist Party's history since Mao Zedong. Most powerful ever. So, and then now this is part two of the series. The first part we talk about the real estate crisis in China and how the local governments and the government is trying to fight this unstoppable doom that is looming over China. And in this video we're going to talk about the natural disasters, and so it's going to be about COVID and the drought and the flooding, and you will be blown away by what we're going to be seeing. So but I just want to put another disclaimer. This is not all the news that happened over the past 3 months. This is just a snippet of what the hell is happening in China, which I'm sure, do not really know in details. So basically, let's start off with COVID crisis. So there are in August. This is an August 11 article on MSN. I'm not sure which specific media. So several cities are under lockdown in August, because China is going towards a, whatever you call it, dynamic COVID zero strategy. Zero. So I'm not sure how it's going to go by zero COVID strategy, given how in Singapore, among one of the best best practices in terms of controlling COVID, as basically learned that it's basically not possible to control COVID, and they're going to go for zero. So basically they continue the lockdown. The high transmissibility make it harder to clear infections and hurting business confidence, and who cares, lock down the whole freaking city. So and the Eastern Export and Manufacturing Hub EU said that it will enter 3 days of silent management, and most of the residents are banned from leaving designated area and confined to their homes. In Xinjiang, Xinjiang is where the Uyghurs are. 3 cities in the Aksu area has allowed employees to leave their home for work, and whereas everyone else are not allowed to go anywhere unless necessarily, and there is no idea when the measures will be lifted. And basically, the cluster in the tourism hotspot of Hainan and Tibet continues to expand, with affected cities under lockdown. This was in August. And then with all this COVID lockdown, so where I start off with this, the COVID, of course, has already carried on for like 2 years plus, right? So all this lockdown has been ongoing for a long time already. And then as a result, Mazda lost $144.4 million dollars due to the COVID lockdowns. So the Mazda Motor Corp asked its parts suppliers to increase stockpile in Japan and produce components outside of China after the COVID-19 lockdowns in Shanghai destabilized the entire supply line and hamper production. So they say they brought chips and crucial auto parts to China to be assembled, but they are unable to receive these components from Shanghai because of the lockdown. And the Mazda direct suppliers were Japanese and European companies. They still have parts coming through China, so basically they cannot run away, though, because the freaking China is the freaking factory of the world in the freaking world. So how do you run away from China? I have no idea. Most of our goods nowadays are from China. And then I forgot Xi Jinping is still in front of the face. I'm so sorry. Bye bye, Xi Jinping. I wonder if I covered the words. So anyway, just listen to what I say. So then Tencent, one of the biggest company in China, reports its first revenue drop as the gaming regulations and the COVID-19 start to bite into them. So in case you do not know, Xi Jinping or the central government have ordered a crackdown on gaming, on tuition, on a lot of pop stuff, a lot of gaming stuff, fun stuff. Then they basically say, oh, these are bad for culture, and then they're all destroyed. And reportedly, basically everyone just go bankrupt and close down, or have to redivert themselves into doing something other businesses. And the contraction marks basically a big turning point for the gaming giant and the owner of the WeChat messaging platform that had been reported double-digit growth for every quarter since it went public in 2004. And this crackdown basically began in late 2020, now put its brakes on its expansion, and they have shut down non-core businesses in online education, which is what I already said. Education sector has been heavily hit by the Communist Party. E-commerce, game live streaming is also frowned upon. Gaming, LAN shops are also frowned upon, and rationalize underperforming businesses and significantly cut marketing costs. So Tencent is, for a company this big, of course, is a quite scary thing. And of course, being something so big, the CEO is someone very powerful and influential, which is also one of the reasons why it's being targeted. And then the COVID situation has been so bad that more than 5 million people has been ordered for COVID testing in Xiamen. Xiamen is this city just across Taiwan, and then it's so bad that the fishermen, when they return to their ports, they have to be tested. So that's normal, right? But the fish have to be tested. The seafood must be tested for COVID. So in TikTok, the Chinese TikTok, they actually show medical workers giving live fish and crabs PCR tests. So imagine that craziness. So then Xiaomi then reported a 20% revenue fall, also because of COVID. So Xiaomi posted a steep drop in the second quarter revenue on Friday as the biggest smartphone market shrank, hit by strict COVID restriction. The sales dropped by 20% year on year. And remember, last year was a horrible year because it was still in the middle of a COVID pandemic, and then they dropped further. So imagine that, to 70.117 billion yuan. Still sounds like a lot of money to me, but they are a massive company, missing estimates and marking a steeper decline from the previous quarter. And the net income dropped by 67% to 2 billion yuan, and missing analyst estimates. So basically, Xiaomi has crashed and burned, but they're not bankrupt yet. They're still pretty much around. And then by early October, so we are skipping September, and because we are just want to give you a taste of what the hell is happening. In earlier this month, in 7 October, massive COVID flare up across the entire of China again. So this zero policy has relatively never reached anywhere close to zero, where they face the largest flare-up of COVID-19 cases in a month, which then complicates their preparation of this very important Communist Party meeting, which is the National Congress, I think. So they are, all the locals and provincial officials have vowed to stop the spread of the coronavirus from spilling over to Beijing, which is the capital where the meeting will be held. So on this day, the daily COVID count has doubled in the past week to 1,400 cases, which probably you just add a times 100 to it, which will probably make more sense out of 1.4 billion people. So 1,400 cases is basically impossible. It have to be 10 to 100 times, because we have more cases than this in Singapore, which we are only just one tiny city. So take a pinch of salt with the kind of situation. And the zero COVID policy, as of my understanding, based on the National Congress, the speech by Xi Jinping, they will continue to go for zero COVID policy. So you like it or not, if you are Chinese, you are in China, somehow watching this YouTube video, good luck to you. And then let's go on to the other type of natural disaster. The previous one was not so natural, but it's still natural. Now we're talking about rain and flood. In 31st of July, the heavy rain, and this flooding, affected, 80,000 people in the northeast of Liaoning province. Basically, where is Liaoning is actually, just off North Korea. So as such, some 1,600 hectares of crops has been hit, causing a 12.7 million yuan, or 1.9 million US dollars of losses. And in this region, 13 medium-sized reservoirs and 17 small reservoirs in the province have exceeded flooding levels, and they are discharging flood water. And where they discharge to? The farms. So this is the situation now. Dent in Liaoning. And then on the other side of China, in Sichuan. So just now we are in Liaoning. He's over here. So now in Sichuan, and Sichuan, the factories are shutting down because they have no water. So on one side they have too much water, on the other side there's no water. So Sichuan is shutting down their factories to save power because of the low water level behind the dams. So apparently the low water level caused the dams to not work, and most of their electricity is actually used hydroelectric, and no water go through the dams means no electricity, which means there's no you can't work, there's no electricity. And so this comes in the moment where it was in the middle of summer. In August it was summer, and then people are very hot, air conditioned demand is spiking, there's intense heat wave and drought across the China South and the Yangtze River basin. And then to prevent this power outage, they asked the factories to stop operations. And then the next day, so just now we will have having the flood, right, in the late July. So in the middle of August is totally heat wave and droughts, everywhere. And the canal connects to Wuhan on the Yangtze River has been closed. So the driest summer in 6 decades left one of the mightiest river barely half of its normal width, and then the low level in the river halts cargo shipment. So because the rivers in China is huge, so basically the rivers act as super highways for cargos, with cargo ships going through the river. As you can see, the rivers are massive. You can see all this cargo ships going around the river. Yes, this the water level has went too low for even cargo shipments. So basically, trade is affected. And basically the canal that connects Wuhan with the Anqing to the northeast of Anhui was closed because it was too shallow for the vessels to actually move safely. And this heat wave continued, and then it was then reached a new height of becoming the worst heat wave in 60 years, where several provinces routinely reached 40 degrees Celsius or 104 Fahrenheit. And basically this is a stupid level of heat, and this situation are causing a lot of problems, because Sichuan, right? So just now we were really talking about Sichuan area. Sichuan is actually a producer of lithium. They are a key supplier of lithium, and because of this shutdown of the factory, lithium production is now affected, and as a result, the price of this lithium metal could soar, and lithium is used for batteries. So at the same time, while everybody is dying of thirst or heat, in the Western China, flash flood happened in this godforsaken region in Qinghai, basically in the Datong County, where there's a flash flood, and then 6,000 people were affected. So 23 died. So bizarre. Then 3 days later, Jiangxi. So Jiangxi is here. So Jiangxi here, just next to Fujian, which is opposite Taiwan. They have declared water supply red flag. So they have declared a red alert for the first time because the freshwater lake basically has dwindled to a record low level, and they expected this water level to continue to fall lower. And they say that the rain since July is 60% lower than the year before. So so as such, this continues to be reported. This situation is repeated across to other parts of China, where in Anhui, so Anhui is this region here, just next to Zhejiang, next to Jiangsu. So they say that a total of 10 reservoirs in Anhui has fallen below dead pool level. So people started to take two knife and wear the red coat and then running around dead pool level, and because they are unable to discharge water downstream. The water level is just too low. So the drought conditions will prevail in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze, and they are currently trying to seed the clouds, trying to create artificial rain. And Poyang Lake level, by the 26th, remains to be really low. So this is the lake. In case you cannot see, it looks very dirty. Look like coffee, but actually there's all silt and sand, mud. So I don't know how you're going to see what is this, but never mind. So the water level has dropped to historic low. So this comes after months of droughts, and the water level has dropped from 19.43 meters to 7.1 meters over the last 3 months. That's crazy. 12-meter level of water has gone from this lake. And then the next day, massive drought hits Hunan so badly that they are now declaring they are one of the most affected area. So Hunan is here. You can see the drought go from Anhui affected to Hangxi to Hunan. Basically everyone is hit. So so all 122 cities and counties in the province have reached medium drought level or higher, and 90 counties and urban areas are hit by extreme drought. This is crazy. And then what's more crazy, they are expecting bumper harvest. No joke. So despite the drought, they are getting a bumper autumn harvest, according to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs. So, and they are expecting this harvest to increase, because of good growth in most of China. So they say that technology, give birth to modernized way of planting, and then through soil moisture sensor, and then collect information 24 hours a day. So once they detect that there's too little water, they will actually water it. So as such, the sprinkler will open, and they don't really need that much water. And not on top of that, they also deploy locally developed hybrid rice variants that produce high yields and resistant to diseases, and high temperature. So this drought resistance crop, despite the crazy drought, are actually producing bumper harvest. So good job, to be honest. And by the 16th of October, Xi Jinping is expected to get the third term, which you already know they are getting. So basically, this is the part 2 of probably a 3-part series, and of China, the China crisis that is hitting China and Xi Jinping's rule. And as Xi Jinping goes into his third term, and this is going to be his most difficult term. And we are not even talking about the geopolitics. We are not talking about Taiwan. We are not talking about the trade war with USA. No, purely just internal, the China crisis from within. And so if you find this is interesting, do stay tuned for the third installment of this China crisis videos. And I will see you in the next update.